Awesome. Thanks so much. So we'll start with a quick round of introductions. My name is Mike Schaiman. I'm CEO and founder of Gen City Labs. My previous work history has been establishing a digital agency working with Fortune 500 brands to provide new technologies to them. And what got me into the Web3 space was actually, reading the article. If you guys have not heard of the 1,000 True Fans, it's a really phenomenal article that was kind of rewritten by A16Z, talking about the ability of an artist to survive purely as an artist based on having 1,000 true fans who will consume anything they produce. That concept, when applied to the NFT space and seeing how communities are developing, was super fascinating, got me into the space to drop an NFT project. I moved on to start an agency to work with Fortune 500 brands to help them onboard into Web3. And now we are in the process, as we build for our brand clients, of creating a platform for community engagement and reward. So my perspective will be both from NFT native as well as brand, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. But first, let me introduce my panelists here. We have Will Perkins. Will, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got into Web3?
Sure. So I'm Will Perkins. I'm one of the co-founders of Bytes. We're a Web3 company that helps Web2 businesses go ahead and make the bridge or jump over the gap into the Web3 world. The best way to describe, really at a high level, all the different things we offer would just be a bunch of products and services that Web3 businesses desperately need and typically have to pay massive amounts of software development costs for, and we try to go ahead and make that a lot easier for them. Think enterprise meets SaaS would be a good way to introduce it. For how I got into the world, I've been doing anything in crypto from Bitcoin to NFTs and everything in between since 2010. Don't really care to talk about how much Bitcoin I sold when it was really cheap back in the day, but hey, here we are. And needless to say, it's been a pretty fun journey, but really got into it full time the last 2.5 years or so when I kind of saw a big jump in technology and a mass push for adoption and whatnot.
And also with us, we have John Tremblay. John, please tell them who you are, what you do, and then how you got into Web3.
Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you all. I got into crypto in 2015 with my first Bitcoin purchase, but I believe that when I entered Web3 was actually when I got my first NFT. It was what NFT gave me was the sense of community, the sense of belonging to something that was of a higher level, meeting people, because I always felt really lost in crypto. No? I'm at a core a trader, by the way. I've been trading crypto since professionally since 2017, and it's when I met NFTs that I started to create NFT projects. First as a fan, when I get into the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I minted doodles, I minted everything in 2021, and this is my third year back-to-back to NFT.NYC, and I'm very passionate about it. And since then, I've been helping small people, not businesses, people that have dreams, that want to create a project. I create a few NFT projects that are very successful at some point, top 50 of OpenSea, now much less, bear market vibes, and helping right now doing advertisement, consultancy, advisory, and just having fun in the space and joining communities and just keep trading and doing things. That's a bit of me.
Right on. So, when I first got into the space, it was through NBA Top Shot, and I think that's an on-ramp for a lot of mainstream folks. I started buying in 2020. Initially, it was the speculative nature of watching something you buy increase in value and having immediate ability to buy, sell, trade. And that got me pushed into, what are these other NFTs over here? And look at how people are interacting with one another online, right? It was a paradigm shift from how I was used to buying things, how I was used to interacting with brands. How do you guys see Web3 communities and how they're different than a Web2 community of fandom might exist? How does the NFT inclusion, how does the concept of ownership change a community's dynamic?
I can give that input to that. I will compare it, for example, to the Bugatti Club. If you buy a Bugatti, you get into a list where you basically can access this network people that actually have a Bugatti, and you like just hang out with them. You go to events, you share a common thing. So the Web3 version is literally having your ape, your doodle, your NFT project, your crypto zombies, whatever you like, with people you enjoy, and you have a stake on it. So you have like a common thing that you enjoy from the beginning, and is that thing that like puts you together into like, it kind of like makes you protect your investment in some sense, and that will to protect your investment makes you come back to the community. And when you create that habit of meeting people, making friends, something that we lack so much in this digital era, that we just don't connect anymore as we did before. We get friends, we're like some kind of like a digital family, and that's just the beautiful part of it.
So I think a lot of the stuff from the crypto world has also originated from gaming, especially with the use of Discord, mainly coming from the old days of Xfire, and you can go back for a while, Ventrilo, all that. And really the big change that I think Web3 has over Web2, if you go back and you look at the origins, is that it does give that sense of ownership, but at the same time it also makes it so that you now have a way of interacting with people that also own the same thing you have, and you can do it 24/7 from your phone, and you have access to something in a way that you've never really had it before. If you go and you buy a car, or if you buy into a club or whatever it is, you're basically giving money into a membership so that you can experience the benefits of said membership. In this case, you get access to the membership as a byproduct of owning the actual asset, and that asset goes up in value or down in value, depending on obviously what the market says and whatnot. And so it definitely changes things a little bit for the perspective of how individuals are going about it, but it's also opened up a whole new world of people who they've never really been involved in investments, and they've never been involved in really just online communities and whatnot, and it's made it infinitely more accessible for everyone.
Yeah, I have been using a framework for what drives community activity and behavior, and it was started by somebody over at Salesforce, and I forget her name, and I really want to attribute this to her because she's really brilliant, but it's called OSNAP, and OSNAP stands for ownership, status, networking, access, and perks. It actually makes it really easy to remember, when you try to think about the benefits of community and the cross-section of brand experience. OSNAP, the ownership portion of that is something that, if you're a fan of a sports team, right, the New York Giants or San Francisco 49ers, your ownership is a jersey, or your ownership is season tickets. It is not necessarily a liquid asset. Once you add in the concept of NFTs and ownership and value accruing to a token that can actually be easily exchanged, that's this dynamic in my mind that hasn't really existed for fans. And it really does, to your point, Will, change how communities are activating. I think it certainly incentivizes new behaviors, it incentivizes connection, it incentivizes participation. And I don't want to use Yuga Labs as the analog because they're such an outlier, right? Like, I'd rather choose project number 20 on the list of popularity because it's, you're going to find a lot more of those than you are of Yugas. But like looking at the genesis of most of those projects, it was the alignment of financial value, right? And perks in one sense. And then it was networking, to what you mentioned, John, to the status, which clearly, I have my PFP up there, and you rock your ape all the time, I'm sure, and then access, which is what all of that allows. So I think that formulation is something very special. So next question: how are brands identifying, and how do you create superfans? How do you take people that are interested in a brand? How do you elevate them and give them a platform, give them the ability to participate more deeply, and what are, how do you envision brands in the future grabbing people who are fans and then turning them into evangelists and turning them into super fans?
So I can think about this, like, I funded like about 10 projects, or very help managed projects in the past 2 years. And what I seen, the project that succeeded the most were the ones that didn't try to succeed. It's weird to explain this. It doesn't make any sense, but let me explain. the founders that were just like enjoying what they were doing and didn't care much about the mint price or how much they're gonna soup from the market were the ones that really succeeded. Like the people that just were there for vibes or like creating something, their dreams, and really passionate about it, and were like open, transparent, amazing themselves. It was the founders that are like the soul of the project. So people bet on founders. People bet on dreamers, on visionaries, on things that they enjoy. So like it's brands what they need is that figure. They need their own figure that is people can look for. Or like even if you're like a small business, a small brand, let's say you do pizza here in New York and you want to create a membership. And we were talking yesterday when we came from a party, and we actually went to a pizza place and we had like food, and we talked with the guy and he actually tried to do NFTs last year. And his idea was like get one slice of pizza every day forever. And this micro brand that can be 200 people, he said, will be your community. It's the people you see every day. It's the people that is your brand. You don't have to be L'Oreal. You don't have to be Porsche. You don't have to be this gigantic thing. You can be a small brand that just comes into your area and gets the people that are really consuming your product, and you just want to create a family, a community. So you can do it through activations, through creating what he said was very interesting is a cook session. Let's do pizza together one night a month. This kind of values that foster the love and membership and really passion through people is what like will drive the most value to these brands that want to create a community.
Love that.
I mean, I think one of the other big things as well when it comes to superfans is you don't want to actively try to create them. You want to give the opportunity for them to just kind of form on their own. We had a couple different NFT communities. One of them actually ended up being basically where we were able to go and do our pre-seed raise just by creating a meme project. We didn't make any money on it. It was just a big joke, and we ended up turning it into something that raised a few $1 million and turned, well, really helped create Byte to where it is now. And the big thing that kind of came out of that is that, similar to what John was saying, you can't force it. You have to just go into it knowing, at least as a community leader, you have to go into it without any expectations of walking away with money or anything like that. Foster a system where people have access to make money from it. Obviously, money is a great incentive, but at the same time, if you can't do that, at the very least, you can also make it so that individuals have the ability to create some sort of a social system or something that they can take away from it where they join something, they feel a sense of ownership, they feel a community, a cause, something along the lines where at the very least they feel fulfilled is really kind of the end goal there. And that's something that I feel like everyone who ever joins any NFT community is really looking for. There are a lot of people that are just trying to get in and just make money, sure. But at the same time, the people that have the opportunity of becoming the super fan, they're really just there to hang out with the crowd, and they're along for the ride, whether it's going to go up or down.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to watch communities form. And John, I think you're spot on. If you try too hard, it comes off as inauthentic, right? You need organic growth. You really need to embrace your top holders as well. I mean, we see this a lot in that the value, people want to spread value equally across a project, right, across a fan base. But there's also the 20-80 rule, right? 20% of your customers drive 80% of your revenue. I think you can apply that equally to the amount of enthusiasm and the amplification of other efforts, right? Whether that be social or whether that be elsewhere. So, as you think about turning fans into advocates and turning advocates into evangelists and evangelists into super fans, which is, I think the continuum that everybody strives for. A lot of that is about reward, and that can be financial reward, but man, the status portion of that, the recognition, I think is a really big deal. We see it in the communities that we're a part of. And if you're a brand and trying to get into the space, I think it's really identifying who your super fans are. In fact, I've been chatting with some of the folks running Starbucks Odyssey. And if you guys know, Starbucks Odyssey is built on invisible Web3 rails. And they have both a Web3 native community. I'm part of the Odyssey beta. They have a huge number of people that have never owned an NFT and aren't even aware it's built on Web3, not aware it's NFTs. When I asked them who their best community members are, who are their super fans, they said 100% they're coffee lovers. They are people that love Starbucks. They're people that collect mugs. They're people that in real life are already fans of the brand and think it's a great experience. The Web3 people, they're flipping things and they're doing what Web3 people do. And I think it's interesting because honestly, if you dissect that or break it down a little bit, it's essentially people that have fallen in love with the brand because the brand creates a great experience. And so, you create a great experience, you're going to draw people, you're going to be magnetic. I don't think there's an artificial way of doing that. How are people connecting? How are communities forming? Taking a step back just from the superfan focus, but you have an enthusiastic community. What's the best way, or what are some of the best ways to get them connected to the brand, to get them connected to each other, and to provide ways to enable them to communicate?
So here, there's like a few things I learned through the years in this space. There's like the growth hacking way, I think. It's like you just like smash as much possible as content and quality things to the space and give them value and a place that they can just like hang out and you actually interact with them.
Is that a specific platform, or is it, are you talking TikTok or Insta, or name your...
Let's say right now it's Twitter and Discord is mainly what like the community is going, and I wish we had something better. But like that's another thing, like for the hacking and all this stuff, because like if you've been in this space for a bit, you've been hacked, or like someone that has been hacked. I haven't been hacked, like gladly, but like Discord is a mess. Twitter is still full of fakes. Yuga Labs makes a post, you have like 5,000 fake account bots below. So it's not the best communities where you can like spread your gospel or your thing. But like strategies that you can use in your NFT project, I will do collaborations with people that are really established. That's the first thing I will do, because like people follow what they are really respect. So if there's like, I'm not gonna name anyone, so I'm just gonna say this guy, he's called Alpha Guy. He has 100,000 followers, and he is being a legit person in the space, and he's amazing. And people follow what he says, and he actually loves your brand. So you got now someone that is reputable, that is on your brand, because he actually likes what you're doing. And I come back a bit, like one of my projects, like 2021, I had like people messaging my project with like 1 million followers. Like it was like crazy. You had like artists, movie stars. At that time, it was the height of the bull market. Everyone was messaging you. Like everyone wanted to be part of the project that was like going very high on price. So what you can do, and it's the best thing, is like trying to network with these people in these events, network with people that are really established, and try to form relationships. Because right now, even more in a space that is like more hard to penetrate it, even if you have like the brightest idea, you have the best product, you're funded, you're amazing, you need something more. So you need the attention, you need attention span. Like attention is the key. If you don't have attention, you're dead. If you have attention in 1 week and you don't have it the next, you disappear. There's like 100 more projects that were born in that week. And like there's many people trying, and there's like very talented people, and we have to be humble. We're not perfect, we're not the best. There's always someone that is doing something amazing that can grab attention, and you have to be like working, I don't remember how much we were working back then, like 16 hours a day. I'm not gonna say how much, it was crazy. I needed vacations after 2 years of nonstop, but it was just hard work and passion and loving what you're doing and grabbing that attention and continue engaging with your community and actually just be one more. Like it was just like basically that.
Yeah, so I'd rather not go back to the 16-hour days, because I already did that once on Discord where I was there for 13 hours straight talking to people, and that's just not fun nor healthy. So Discord's obviously an easy answer for this. It's the common ground one, but at the same time, in terms of more specific tools or things that you can use to build and engage communities, lots and lots of tools come out. You do have to be very careful, because the good and the bad about Web3 is that it's very easy to build something. Simultaneously, it's also very easy to build something wrong. And as everyone's very well aware, smart contracts have many, many problems and can be easily hacked along with countless other things. So whenever these new projects come out, if somebody makes some small mistake and there's some small permission in a contract and all of a sudden everyone that's using a new tool, boom, everyone's lost all their wonderful NFTs. Something that's probably a little bit more mainstream now compared to 12 months ago, pre-mint would obviously be a good option. There's definitely some good ways to go and build community and engagement around that. There's a substantial number of really valuable projects, everything from Fire to I can't remember the name of them right now. There's a lot of different really good projects that are out there that all revolve around using Twitter as kind of like the news outreach area. And then the other careful thing that you have to take into account is a lot of accounts now, for whatever reason, it hasn't really been as much of an issue in the last 6 months, but when people were able to hack into Twitter accounts very easily just by buying their access key, and all of a sudden you think, oh, that's actually from Pranksy, when it wasn't. It was just somebody who paid $50,000 to send out a spam tweet and kind of screwed over the whole group. But definitely, there's a lot of really good tools. You just kind of need to hop on and do a little bit of research on Twitter, and whatever you do, just make sure that whatever tool you're interacting with, and especially if you're the community leader and you're building your community around that and having everyone go to it, that it's been verified and very much so trusted, and that their contracts are audited and everything else, and not just the original contract, but whatever the newest, most updated one is.
I'll give a slightly different answer because I think 100% Discord, Twitter, these are our standard defaults, right? And bleeding into Insta, starting to see some TikTok. But I'm going to say in real life events are incredibly powerful catalysts for community. I saw that the first time, I helped launch a project called Non-Fungible Heroes. The first time our community got together was an instant, I've only been interacting with these people online. And I've done work for Twitch and TwitchCon in the past, and you see this where your primary interaction with your community and with your friends and with others is digital and it's remote. That first in real life meeting is such a powerful moment and creates such an emotional response out of individuals that it is an instant connection point. It is memorable. It is resonant. It's really, really powerful. So if you think about ways to engage a community, how you want to kick off a community of superfans, think about in real life events, because man, coming out of those, you will have connections for life. And it only takes a few of those, right? Again, you think about the 1,000 true fan or the 100 true fan model. You have a few of those. You have the ability to do that. And if you're a brand getting into the space, you probably already have some really effective ways of gathering an audience and gathering consumers. But that's certainly one of them. So who's doing it right? I know we're getting close to time. Who out there, not NFT native, but what brands are entering the space? Who's doing a really, really good job of activating a community, of harnessing, of doing it organically and authentically, not cash grabbily? Who's doing a great job?
I have actually an interesting take that is not very well known, so maybe you can take something from this. It will be Japanese NFTs actually. They're taking the market by the storm. They started a meta a year back. They started to mint at 0.0001, nothing, with massive amounts of NFTs. And they were crafting in real life utilities and these events that are very cool from people they actually respect already. So it's usually it's creators that come into this space and they create a free NFT that after a week is holding a 3-4 ETH floor that no one knows about. No one in this community actually knows what they're doing. And there's actually alpha communities that is doing that. So that's my thing. Very cool.
Something more local, I'd say Vayner. Vayner is probably be a really good one. They've got, especially lately, they've through the bear market still been doing really well and doing a great job at that. I know we're close on time, so I'll just keep it simple since everyone pretty much knows who Vayner is at this point.
I got to go with the obvious. Adidas. I know they have a big event tonight. They just announced their PFP. you know, if you're a brand, you have the three options, right? It's build, partner, buy. You roll your own and you know, roll the dice. You partner with somebody, which is Adidas partnering with Yuga and Pixel Vault and G Money, or you buy, right? And that's Nike's entry into the space with Artifact. I don't think Nike is. I actually think Artifact is doing some amazing things. It just takes a while, but I think that would be the answer. And it looks like we're out of time. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.